bored today. The past barely moved, and and I'm really tired. Just that I'm really tired just of looking at the screen and seeing nothing. I
Yeah.
personally also taking some risky trades, which I think that if I hold, I can get better risk reward ratios. Just like UF, I'm also holding UST Swissy. So I'm holding
Yeah.
this Swiss as well, but it's taking a long time just to drop, and it's like
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm paying as much commission as I'm earning at this moment just for holding it.
Yeah, 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 for sure, for sure. Is
Yeah,
Andrew
I'm
gonna be
also not
joining us
calling any
I'm
city.
here.
later?
I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, you're here. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I
Hey,
slipped in.
boss.
I slipped in.
Yeah, we
You
came
snuck
before the
in.
time. Come on,
um,
larga. Sorry, guys.
Uh,
you
no
wanna lead us
worries.
off, Andrew, and then I can jump in.
Yep.
Yeah. Show
Okay.
us the light, Andrew, please. Show us the light, please.
So it has been a pretty fun week in the markets, obviously.
I'm gonna kill you for saying
y-
that.
y-
I don't know if you're
uh,
being sarcastic
I'm
or
being
not.
very sarcastic. Obviously, obviously what we've found is just this ridiculous range in the equities market, and it's kind of
Yeah.
showing its face in the forex market now. Um,
Mhm.
so literally, all I'm going to do is I'm going to very, very quickly show. Uh, I've only really got my eyes on two things at the moment for tomorrow. I'm just going to quickly look at that, and then I'm going to let Kenya. Kenya's got a few things she wants to look at as well. She's got a few charts marked up, so I'm going to let her run through everything that she wants to do. And Franny, if you have anything you want to tap in as well, go for it. But for me, it's going to be very quick because I'm still kind of on the same side of the fence of where I was to begin with. Uh, you guys see my screen okay?
I can.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously I still want to see a correction in equities, and we can see the barriers holding there. It's the same with the NASDAQ. We're not getting any sort of, I think that we've seen a bit of exhaustion on these vaccine rallies now because we've had two doses of vaccine news this week, which were quite big, and it didn't really do anything. So I think honestly, right now, while this is still occurring, this range here, we're going to be stuck because this is your dollar range. This is everything. So for me, I just muted you for a sec, Franny. The only one that I've really got my eyes on for tomorrow is EuroCAD. I'd like to see a bit of because as I said, we have a new peak alert here. So what I'm really looking for is just to see if we can find some resistance underneath this level again, and then just trade away from that. That's only one of the new ones that, it's kind of, I've got my eyes on it a little bit. It'll be interesting to see if we do find some sort of bearish price action around here. But EuroCAD is one that I'm looking for shorts. Obviously, looking at these Euro AUD, I mean, I don't even want to look at it anymore. It really pains me, and it's going to really pain me if it actually ends up going and just flying off, because that just came down, tapped me out, and now I can't even be bothered to get back into it. GBAUD, I still think this looks extremely constructive where it is.
Mhm. Mhm.
We're following trend. We've had peak, break, trend, break again, and now we're finding support on this zone right here. So what could have looked like a head and shoulders, in reverse, it could end up being, a massive supportive double top. So that's what I'm kind of watching. It looks like it's kind of catching a little bit of heat now, which is what I'm hoping for, because on the back of that, I would like to see EU, which is obviously starting its little breakdown. I'd like to see EU breakdown, and I'd like to see GU breakdown from its highs. So with GU, we have a perfect example where price, we've maintained that peak so far, and then price broke back down underneath its order block from this last drop. So as long as we saw with the other pairs earlier on in the week, as long as we can kind of pressure this short-term trend line on the hourly coming in, and then we can see some sort of, a nice cross on the EMAs, I think that it's tough because the dollar just, I think it wants to bounce, and it's at a strong level now where it looks like it could be completing a W as well. So if the dollar completes its, move here on the strong support, that will go in line with the S&P looks like it's moving a little bit now. So we may see a sell-off into the end of the week, obviously coming into the weekend where people don't really want to hold stuff over the weekend. So this, what day is it today? Wednesday? God, I don't even know what day it is at the moment. I've been staring at these charts, just watching.
Looks like a Saturday, to be honest.
Dude, it's like paint drying. My eyes are like killing me just from looking at TradingView. But this is good. It looks like it's making a move. So
yeah, it's moving fast too.
Yeah, as long as we take out that potential neckline and we break back underneath it and find some, then I think the move will happen, and that will go well with the USD strength that could kick in. And as I said, this is where we are right now on GU is it's super overextended, right? So we can expect that hopefully there's some sort of correction. And that's kind of it for me, what I'm looking at. I'm just going to delete oil, get rid of this. I'm not going to look at that again. NU obviously just didn't work. This just continued to smash through. And I was quite surprised how strong I don't know if it's Kiwi strength or if it's literally just been the dollar weakness as well.
Honestly, I think it's the dollar weakness that particular, the Kiwi is playing off of, but I do believe that we will see a flip once this dollar starts breaking these highs that they're in. So I think that NZD JPY pair that you have, because I have a very similar markup, is prone to get to the downside. It's just going to be in that range for a bit. That's my personal thought, because I really don't think the Kiwi is that strong.
Neither do I. I think it's literally, and you can see it across the dollar pairs. It's dollar suspension that's holding them. It's
exactly
looking at every other cross. It's literally just dollar weakness. So that's, my game plan and my sort of view of the market hasn't changed. But like Franny said to me earlier, they're just playing the waiting game. Where instead of killing you with volatility, they kill you with this
range,
and then you're in and out of trades and you're like trying to find trades and you get impatient, and this is just another tactic that they have which they know catches people out. So just got to wait for me. Silver, I can't believe I didn't even set this limit for myself.
That was a good trade.
Yeah, that was it's a great trade to look at TradingView, but if I had set that limit, that would have been mad. But yeah, so that's it really for me, guys. Again, like I said, I'm looking for EuroCAD shorts into maybe tomorrow, and then looking into some dollar strength to end the week potentially. GBAUD looks like it's finding some decent support there as well. And Euro AUD probably not so much, but yeah, that's really it. I think Euro New Zealand could give a good buying opportunity for anyone who wants to try and get in, and just on the retest of this peak here, you could get in on quite a tight little move there, and potentially trade it up to highs. Same thing with the GN move here, where you could have bought down there and traded up. But yeah, so not much has changed from me, guys. I'm going to let Kenya go through and run through what she's looking at. I'm sure she's got her eyes on quite a few juicy pairs. So stop my share now.
All right.
Mute myself.
So yeah, as I mentioned before, guys, I'm in quite a few and I'm looking at quite a few. I would to Andrew accept the screen sharing and then I'll share. Some of these I've been in since last week, so that's kind of my strategy. I'm a swing trader, so I can hold positions for a while, or I can scale in positions for a while, especially if that pair is going to give me good price action. And a lot of the JPY pairs, the yen pairs, have been doing that. So that's where most of my holds are in. Okay, there we go. I'll show you guys.
You can share it, right?
Yep, about to right now.
Perfect.
You guys can see, yeah. So I'll start with the two I've been holding the longest, which is Swiss Yen. And I scaled in twice on this particular pair. So I caught this particular pair off of the 62 fib. I originally had it at the 0.705, but it did not retrace all the way up. So instead, I just put up the 60. So these are usually my two zones here. Sometimes I'll find that the 79 works, but that's not for every pair, which is why I have my particular fib that shows the 79. But I don't always literally go to that. That's why my 62 is blue, because that's usually my golden ratio. I know that's different for everybody, but for me, this is what's been working for me for the past 5 years. So this is what I use as far as my fib levels go. And I'm scaled in on this pair, which means I have two separate trades for this same pair off of this. So from this level, and then from the retest of this level down. So from this first blue rectangle. And so this is currently where we're at. But as we can see, I don't know, you guys can tell, like, this is not the prettiest trade, like whatsoever. It's very ugly, being quite honest. The price action is all over the place. And if anyone was trying to get into this pair right then and right now, it would be wicks all over the place. So this was definitely something that was a little bit for me on the riskier side, especially when we had this long green candlestick that happened here. This easily could have just kept pushing, to the upside and totally took me out the trade. But thank goodness that's not what we had. And I was able to literally come back to my entry zone and then continue back to the downside. But this was what I considered a risky trade. I think Andrew and a couple of other people were also looking at this same trade. So if you guys also are in something similar like this, that's great. And I hope you guys can ride the wave, because I do think this has the potential to go even further, especially if the equities are going to keep playing risk off and achieve lower lows. So definitely want to keep an eye on. I want to see if it's going to do another retest and maybe even scale in a third option, but we'll just see. And for my other yen pair is USDJPY. This one was extremely risky. I think I saw a couple of people post this in the chat as well. I did post this particular setup on the chart setups, but this one was risky only because we didn't have an exact retest in this area. Like, it didn't come down and then do another retest and then come down. It did one and came straight into play. So I had zero drawdown on this particular play. But the only reason why I was a little bit more confident with taking it is because in this exact same area for a liquidity grab, this same area got touched here as well, and then it touched here. So that was like my 3-touch rule in this same zone. So I went ahead and I took the trade. And also playing off of what I know with JPY. And playing off of the USD weakness that we were getting, all that kind of played into a factor. This rectangle here, I marked because it was showing, strong support in this area. This pretty big fake out came back into this zone. So that was the area that I wanted to clear. Now, I think it can actually come back and retest this same area. Now, if it does that and it holds, I may or may not scale in for another position. We'll see. But that's kind of the play that I have right now. So yeah, as it stands right now, this play has done close to 200, just a little under tips. So it's about a 1.5 RR if it hits final TP. So that's for that one. Let's see here. I'll just start from the top. So those were the two main ones that I wanted to speak about because those are my two longest holders from last week. And that's usually what those are typically the trades that I look for as a swing trader. This is in my wheelhouse. These are things that make me, move my account and scale my account to where it's at now, are these big plays. Yeah, you don't always get them, but when I do, I want to definitely, make profit off of them. So those are those two. And then here are some other ones that I'm eyeing that I'm have small positions in, and we'll see what they do. This odd CAD, just from what we saw from the CAD news yesterday, there was some pretty good news. So of course, all these spikes happen. I think we were talking about that yesterday with someone wanted to know, well, why was the CAD going the opposite way if it was good news? It was just a manipulation spikes to get all of the sellers off of their trade. That's what banks will do. So now that the dust is kind of settled, that CAD news can actually can actually play into effect. And so I'm hedging on that with some of these shorts and the CAD. So I have a AutoCAD short here that I'm eyeing. I'm in a EuroCAD short currently, and I think this is going to do a retest. I think in that zone that Andrew you have marked up for a potential short, I think that's going to be where this retest actually happens, and that would be a good ideal area for a nice short to kind of finish in this area here, or maybe even lower. But that's kind of where my ideal area would be. So there's that. Let's see. Let's go to the next CAD pair that I have, GBP CAD. I know a couple of you guys were talking about GBP CAD earlier today. I was in the trade with you guys. I had my stop loss a little bit higher. So I was 63 pips to catch 117. So that was about a 1 to 2 RR. This is what I consider intraday. Yeah, I already moved my stop to break even. I already took partials on it. I'm not super confident in GBP CAD, to be completely honest. I took the move based off of the manipulation spikes that happened, but we'll kind of just wait and see what happens. I'm kind of curious to see what you guys think about GBP CAD also, because I saw some of you guys sharing that one as well. Here is my GBP CHF. Now, this is something I had been waiting on for a while to reach this area to actually come into play to kind of finish off this huge zone that we find ourselves in. And if I go onto the daily, this is GBP CHF for anyone. Sorry, I wasn't naming anything. You know, on a daily, we have this huge support area that has not been able to break that since June, you know. So we hit that another time, and now how I was explaining it in the chart setup is that I'm waiting for this area to now make a new, you know, this was the higher high, and then I'm, you know, to form a new lower high, and then, you know, lower low and lower high and lower low and lower high. So that's kind of what I'm looking for here. So we'll see if this area holds. If not, I gave myself plenty of room in the drawdown. That's not always ideal, but sometimes you have to hold DD in order to actually, you know, let the play happen. This is a swing trade as well. I will definitely be eyeing this one for a minute. Yeah, so there's that one. Let's see. There was something else I wanted to go over. What was that? Was that GU? Yes, I think it was GU and GU. Okay, so I'm gonna go over GU and then GBP odd, and then that will wrap it up for me. Unless anyone has questions, I can't really tell how I can do questions on here. Oh, there you go. Okay. So for GBP USD, I got in off of this break retest here, which hit perfectly on my particular fib for 0.705. And then I entered the trade. So as it stands right now, I've cleared about 1 to 1 in profit. I've already secured it, and I've moved my stop to break even. So as it stands right now, I'm kind of just gonna let this trade do what it do at this point. I do have a final target up here, but given what we're looking for USD strength, probably not gonna get this target all the way up here. So that's totally fine. This was just the play that I was in. So we'll see if this holds, this particular level holds. That's what I'm waiting to see what happens here. If it does a bounce
I think it'll hold, Kenya.
Huh?
I think it'll hold.
You think you'll hold? You think you'll continue to the upside?
Yeah, I think it's gonna go to your take profit. I've got a buy on that at the minute as well.
Okay. So yeah, James thinks we're going to continue to bounce off of here in this support, this break turn support, this resistance turn support, to final target. But we can very well, be very cautious to know that we could also get something like this and come, right back down to entry. At that point, I'll already be out, so I'm not looking to take this anymore myself. But these are the two possible scenarios from this area as the
Equities
as
are
the
moving
markets get
hard.
ready. Yeah, they're moving hard because we're getting market's almost getting ready to close. We've got 8 minutes to close, at least here. And buyers or sellers are getting those last orders, and specifically the banks. Not so much retailers, but banks are doing that.
Oh man, I can't believe I didn't get my sells in on these. Fucking hell.
Finally, someone's speaking my language right now.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot moving here, which is at this time. This for me personally, I've learned the hard way. This is not the time where I move my stops, because when we have that kind of stop pause moment, and the market is kind of riding themselves with all the volatility and the liquidity, you'll realize that the spreads are ridiculously high, and it'll knock you out if you moved your stop loss too tight. So I always wait until after that's all completed, like an hour after that's all done, and then I'll move my stops if I didn't already move them, just to make sure that I didn't move myself out of a good position, because there's we've all been there where we cut our losses too early. Where we cut our wins too short, and that always sucks. So that's my play for GU, and then the last one that I'll go over is GA. Now, Andrew, I did originally see your first chart setup when we were talking about GBP odd, when you were looking in this area, and I decided to wait. And I'll tell you why I decided to wait and why I got in at a better position down here. So just drawing trend lines, and of course, trend lines are always up for interpretation for everybody. But for me personally, how I was looking at the market was I drew my trend line here, and I drew what the trend line was intended to be before it broke, before this area broke through. So this is what my trend lines looked like before this move happened, right? So when this move happened, this is the kind of the cross section. When I extend them out, this is kind of the cross section that I got with my trend lines. And then I drew my fib in from swing low to swing high, right? From this point, this was my swing low to swing high. And what I had saw was from your entry zone, I believe, Andrew, it was in this area. And that, for me, how I trade is not typically the area from a 3.382 area that I typically like to take a trade in. So for me, I wanted to take my trade, but in this zone between the 705 and the 79. And that's literally exactly what happened. Like to the wick, that's exactly what happened. And now I'm currently in this position, and I scaled in a second position for me. So this one is a little bit shorter, 60 to 100. It's my intraday position, and then this is my swing position. So this was the play that I took based off of the overall consensus that we all had the same idea that GPI was going to be for a buy. It was just all about the level I decided to take my buy on. And that's how I came to that conclusion on taking mine a little bit lower to get a better position. So I'm going to read over. We have quite a, hold on, let's see what you guys are talking about in here. Andrew, was this for me in this chat box, or was that for someone else?
I just shared my GA chart as well, just to show where the entry was, because it was a little bit further down. It was where the trend line touch was, the first one.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. So yeah, that is it for me. I'm in a couple of other intraday trades. So, I mean, all of these trades, as you guys can see, I am currently in. Some are big positions, some are small positions. And you know, this is accumulation of experience, and a little bit of a bankroll that I'm able to do something like this. So I kind of want to get a consensus is that, do you guys just want me to send a trade no matter what the risk is, or rather send something that's a little bit less risk averse? Because if I'm going to send pairs, I prefer to have something that's a little bit less risk averse, because I know that everyone is dealing with different bankrolls, but I guess that comes down to how you manage your own trade.
Yeah, I think you should definitely send your trades, like, because obviously you put all the like analysis into it. So obviously we go off what you send us, and obviously we think you're a good trader. So we'll assess the situation, and if we like the trade, we'll go for it, because it's our own risk as well. That's another thing.
I agree.
Mhm.
I think you should just, like, if you think it looks like a good setup, if it's risky, just like say it's risky, and then people will make the decision if they want to take it or not on that. It's up to you how you do it, really.
Okay. So you had a lower CL on the candle bodies instead of the wicks on GA. Okay, let me go back. Trend line. Thank you. I was like TL. I should know what TL is. I say it. For some reason I froze up. You had a lower trend line on the candle. Yes. Oh, why I do the candles instead, like why I do it on the actual body instead of the wick. That's just something that I've learned that works a little bit better for me. So that is why. No, it's okay. It's okay, Jinko. I got you. That gives me a little bit more accuracy, because the wicks are usually all about the volatility, and I don't necessarily want to always count in what happened in the volatility wicks. I want to see what actually happened on the close of that body. That's just for me personally. But again, trend lines are all subjective, right? No matter what, this would still look somewhat the same, even if I did just have it from body to body. You know, this would be all the way down here, but the consensus still stays the same. Why do your charts look so clear? My charts look clear, Franny, because I don't like to overcloud my particular charts. This looks super easy to follow for me. And when I just need to go through, do a quick look at, what's happening in my trades while I'm at work, I can do that. A clean chart makes an easy life, I've learned. So yeah, Jinko, I really hope that answered your question. Trend lines, no matter what, are always subjective. So if you do it a different way, that's totally fine. As long as you're able to, get the same analysis or get a different look at what your thought process is, by all means, do you. So unless there's any other questions, I will hand the mic to a disappearing Franny, who's in the middle of doing something right now. Or I can keep on jabbing my jaws.
Yeah, I'm cleaning piss because my puppy just on the floor.
Let's see here. JPY was another one that I said, you can move stops to break even and things like that. I never moved my stop to break even, all transparency. I totally forgot when I sent that, it was late. But I knew the markets were moving crazy. So I said, just move everything to break even. Totally forgot, didn't do that. I'm still currently in this trade from the same position that I sent out in the trade originally as well. So yeah, I'm just holding a lot of bags, guys. That's enough for me. I'm gonna stop talking.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You're doing good.
At this time, I think what I will do though, I'll go through gold, because I saw a couple of people talking about that earlier. And I was holding the position in gold for a buy actually at 1882. That, as you can see, clearly did not work out. So I'm kind of curious to see this area is being so weird right now. I mean, we literally had almost a whole day of range. Here, let me just move that out the way. Just like almost
Yeah,
a whole day
1,900.
of range here and here and here. So it didn't like really do anything. It looks like now it's trying to do something. And it's probably going to sell just because that's what the equities are doing right now. But I guess I'm just trying to figure out like exactly where would be a good potential buy area. But if we're going to get dollar strength, then we're not going to get gold strength as well. So maybe this is actually the opportunity to go into a sell. I'm not completely sure, to be completely honest. I don't, always trade gold in general. So I'm kind of curious to see what you guys' thoughts are across the board. Max or James or Andrew, what about you guys?
No, I don't trade gold.
I haven't
Avoid
really
that.
I haven't looked at gold for pretty much the reason you just said. It's been, I think, even from when we had that massive sell-off, just looking at the chart from there down to, obviously we had nearly 1,000 pips sell-off. I think even since then it's been, I'd say that whole piece there is range. I'd still like to see more upside into the 1900s to fill some of those imbalances on those candles. But obviously I've looked at the dollar index and I think there's definitely a correction on the dollar, but how much of a correction we get, I think long term, I'm still bullish on gold. I personally don't think we'll dip much lower than low 1800s. I don't think gold will tap into 1700s. I think it's just a case of just waiting for the move to happen, because I think that whole piece there is too choppy. It's really rangy. It's really, for me, it's really doesn't look good. I haven't really seen anything on gold this week at all to think actually there's a good opportunity there. So I'm kind of just waiting to get in at the right price to take it long, but I haven't changed my long-term bias on gold for a long time. I still think we've got much more upside on gold well into the 2000s. So I'm just playing it safe and waiting for the right time to get in.
Yeah, I do agree with you. In fundamental terms, I see quickly gold going up again. I heard that they are heading lockdown restrictions into the US, right? I don't know, Kenya, because maybe it's easier for you to spot that because it's your news, right? Your daily news. So I think that might be the reason why we'll see gold going bullish again, because otherwise than that, we've just been seeing some developments over the vaccine. So
the interesting thing that I found with gold this week was that bond yields were down, dollar was down,
exactly.
but then gold was just sort of ranging. Like I expected a bounce on gold, especially with the yields being down, and we just didn't get that bounce. So for me, I think there's still more downside on gold. Maybe one more push to the downside, and then possibly I think it just flush out
the bond markets. The bond
flush out
market's
some
been
buys
dead for 1 year.
low.
So maybe down to the lowest of this area.
Yeah, I think I'd like to get in somewhere at 1850. I'd like to see
lower.
I particularly, with that candle we had pushed down from sort of 1960 to 1850, there would have been people that would have been holding buys from there and they'd be buying now. But I think we will flush a lot of those people out, push a bit lower into 1840, something like that. And then I think below this here will be I think there's a lot of orders sitting below that level, but I think we need to flush out people that are still holding buys from down there. That's what I'm seeing personally.
Yeah, fast spike to the lower side.
Yeah, just flush a lot of people out, pick up the orders to sort of drive higher.
Just going against previous lows, right? It makes sense. It makes sense because people holding long right now, they set their stop losses just below the wicks to the lowest side.
Right. They have it just below here in this area.
And usually this type of candles, these really fast candles, I've been talking about this from last week when it happened, that usually those kinds of candles are just really bad for late sellers and early buyers. That's why, because we're holding like for 1 week and a half of pure consolidation. Price barely is moving on over gold. So, but I do keep my bullish bias as well. But I honestly don't think we're gonna see price diving to the lower side. It makes sense to go that way, but currently with price action that it's showing to us, I'm still hoping for at least short-term longs or on gold for the rest of the week.
Okay. Cool beans. Thank you for the input. I really appreciate that, guys. And I hope anyone that was, looking at gold and talking about gold, I know a couple of people were talking about that in the chat. They may not be on this call, but this call is just recorded, so they'll look at this and hear all of you guys' thoughts as well. So thank you for that insight. I really appreciate it. So that is it for me, guys. I am going to stop sharing, and I'm going to pass the buck over to Franny and get his insights on what he's got his pulse on and what he's looking at. All right, Franny, go ahead and take it away, bud.
Okay, unmute. Can you hear me, right? Sorry, guys. I'm just really going to watch really quickly some charts I'm doing. I reduced the number of setups I'm looking currently. As you guys can see, I was watching all this stuff for this week, but basically most of them went shit, and I'm basically out of them. But I'm just gonna highlight 2 setups I'm currently holding, which is the euro dollar. So as you guys know, I always draw this this purple line basically means the first 8 hours of the week. As you can guys see here, they are not properly drawn. Oh yes, they are. Okay, so basically this is my first hours of the week, and what I'm trying to see is that price over the euro. From last week, I saw a big high formation lock. So this is my high. It's still protected, as you guys can see. So I was waiting for proper retracement. Last week, I traded to target 1. I took some profits, and the runners got stopped out in here on Thursday. So I'm currently waiting all this movement, and I kept selling over this field level. So right now, what we have in this week over the euro USD is that price basically during Monday stopped on both directions. So we had nothing. As you guys can see, we have pools on liquidity on both ways. So it didn't present us anything, and it kept the bullish momentum. And the next day, so yesterday, price hit a new high for the week and from the previous days. And so I was watching for this high. As you guys saw, I plugged this box and I started having sales in here. So I am currently holding sales on 62 retracement. But price just went up again today. But I like what I see in here. So basically, I think it was Mike. He's not on this call probably, but he was taking my attention into these parables again because I was just holding drawdown. Yeah, he's on the call. Nice. I was just holding drawdown, and when he said, "Oh, does this look like an M formation?" Yeah, it certainly does. This is a multi-day M formation in here. So, and we have like what we want to see. We have a reversal pattern, right, over the. How do I clean this mess? You guys know.
No.
Oh, usually I can just clean this mess. Not today, I guess. Yeah, I can clean this now. Just do your job, Andrew, please. Yeah, just kidding. Yeah, anyway, just going to fade away with this. So basically, we have this candle formation in here, which I like, and it goes within the retracement, which is, for me, the retracement I need to see over these AFP trades. It's always between 62 and 79. Usually, it's where we pick the best reward ratios, because until the maximum highs are equal, are met or suppressed, we still with these peak references, right? So it doesn't matter this crosses, because this is just an extension of the level. And as you guys can see this week, I'm going to show you on other pairs. It's been really a mess and it's been really tiring. So I would like to refer, for example, this is really minding me, you know. I wanted to clear the board. I think I'm gonna stop the share. I'm not going to do that again. Sorry, guys. So basically, over this this GBP JPY we saw last week. We saw in the last week this high on Wednesday, and we saw, and I called this on the quarter point, so 140, and we started selling DJ. But what happened here? It's that we met this whole consolidation here, which is basically the level 1 consolidation, and that's why I think this week is boring, because they're watching one of the most volatile pairs, which is GBP JPY, and it didn't barely move out of the weekly initial range. So note this, guys, this is one level 1, and when it met with the 200 EMA on the 1 hour, we wanted to see the 200 crossing with the 50 and price shooting down again and making a new level, which was level 2 of drop away from this current peak, which is basically really strong because it's a really psychological level in here. But as you guys can see, they are just accumulating orders, and none of this is worth unless you entered on Monday on the fib retracement as well. So that's why I'm not trading this pair currently. I'm just trading Euro USD, which actually it used the weekly initial range as support 3 times already, but I think that this time it's going definitely to break through and use it as a new resistance. So the supports will become resistance and will keep crippling to the lower side, because guess what, Euro needs to cripple to the lower side. And if we actually see intra-week peak lock on this multi-day M formation, basically today we have enough catalyst over the market to see Euro drop, because Lagarde will throw a speech, I think at 10 o'clock in London time, I'm not sure, but during the morning basically she's going to make a speech. So it's worth to watch this pair because it's really strong on conferences right now. I didn't plot here, but if you look at the 4 hour, we also have the price respecting and bouncing over the 4 hour or the block, which is in here. So these all retracement on the 4 hour, it matches like the Alcott criteria. We have RSI extended and showing a shark fin outside the volatility bands. Same happening on the 1 hour chart. So definitely we want to be looking at this. And this market close was really sweet because I was holding drawdown and I'm currently in little profit right now. So over the USD, the dollar index, I think it's important to notice as well. We bought this dip 2 weeks ago, I think, and we saw like a minor trend reset here over the EMAs. But that doesn't mean that this level isn't valid, because it means just we have a level inside the level, and inside level 1 retracement we saw another level of drop. So basically all this movement here, it's all this movement you guys see in here, it's a downtrend, but it's also a pullback of the main trend, which is this one. So I think it's worth to wait for dollar to break through the quarter point and also the last resistance, which is here. And honestly, I would like to see dollar just going back into the weekly opening range and using this as a new resistance and going back up. Otherwise, if I see price bouncing in this area on the 92.35, probably price will break down until 92. So I'm just really waiting a clear response. But in my view, I would like dollar to make a correction to the upper side, at least until the end of the week, so we can see Euro making accordingly to the plan. So the other pairs I was looking at, and since you guys already went through them, I'm also looking at the indices this week. Mainly, I was looking at Nasdaq, but it's basically just the same thing as GBP JPY. So we have another peak lock on last Monday from last week. Price breakthrough, created level 1 of drop in here. This is all the tracement here. I'm gonna move this to this side. This is all the tracement here, and if you guys see, we have a triple top in here. And if you guys see, I plot my fibs, so until the basically low of the day. We also have a 62 retracement over here. On Nasdaq, and I was trying to sell because this is for me it was a quick grasp to the quarter point, which was 12,000. But basically, I closed my positions over Nasdaq, and I'm trading the DAX. Or I'm trading the DAX, but it's not peak lock, so you guys need to be careful. I'm currently using a soft peak lock here on the last Monday, not from this week.
Ronnie,
and basically they are extending this peak. The peak happened at 13,300. So this
Ronnie,
is my current peak. Yes, tell me.
we can't see your screen.
For real?
Yeah, I thought you were
Right.
just talking and not showing your screen anymore.
Sorry guys. Sorry. Thanks. I don't know what happened, to be honest. Okay, so you guys can see again. Yeah, I'm trading at this moment. As you guys see, this is the amount of trades I'm holding. So I'm holding 11 trades on the DAX. Currently, just one of them is not in profits because I entered on the lower side in here. But basically, what I was showing, this is my peak over the DAX. For me, it was clear that we were on level 3 because we have a nice anchor formation here. It was peak formation low. We had level 1 clear in here. Okay, sorry, I was not in the 1 hour. We had our level 1 in there, level 2 in here, and we have level 3 in here. So basically, this is all. We know that we are on level 3 from the bullish trend. This peak on Monday didn't get ripped. And it got confirmed somewhat on this Monday, not from the last week, when it went until that last peak and just touched the tip and came back down. The EMAs that don't show us any type of confirmation because they are all tangled up, right? So what we wanted to see, it's a clear break to the lower side, and I still think it's happening because this peak is being protected. Price didn't violate this peak, just make really deep retracements. And at this moment, I reset my peak into this Monday peak, and I'm using this reference to trade. So basically today we had a pretty strong confluence right now into a sell side because price retraced all the way up to the between 60 and 70% retracement. And it throws at the London close and New York opening a nice M formation here, as you guys can see. And the second leg of this M formation, this leg in here happens to be a railroad track, what I call railroad track. The TDI and RSI was showing exactly what I wanted, which is first leg outside of the volatility band, meaning that the volume in this leg it's higher than the second one, but the price didn't went to as high as it went for the second leg. So for me, this is a kind of trap I used to look into. And price was also touching the oversold territory, and it went accordingly to the already set trend over these peaks. That's why I'm selling the indices in general. This is really close to what's happening in all other indices right now. So for example, on the Dow, we also have this peak over this Monday. So this Monday has a really strong peak, just like happening on the DAX. Really strong peak on last Monday. This week on Monday, we also have the same peak, went to the same price level and came back down, and happening to be a really strong quarter point as well. And I think I missed the quarter point thing here, but basically you guys will notice that this is also, no, this doesn't have any special quarter point in left, 13,250 around here. Yeah, which makes sense, but it's not that big confluence as is in the Dow. But basically, I'm just focusing on Euro USD and the DAX right now. I'm selling the DAX, as you guys saw, as I call in the channel. I'm trying to reduce the amount of trades of instruments I'm trading, but obviously it's not working because I'm just making as many trades as I did, but only in one setup, which is pretty dangerous because if things go south, I might get burned, right? But usually I never go south. So that's my stats is showing me that I'm 70% right over my target. So I'm not afraid right now. But yeah, this is everything, guys. I would like to see what you guys think about the pair I'm talking about, and what Andrew and Kenny also talk about. So who wants to start? I want to give away my mic. So Max, can you start, please? Usually you always have a lot to say about the shots. Oh no, he went away. He's not.
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay,
Sorry.
he's here. Yeah, he's here. You want to show your screen?
Yeah, I've only got a couple that I'm looking at because I had a pretty shocking day today. So
yeah, it's really boring. Sorry guys, maybe I was bored as well, so I just talked about these two setups mainly. But if you guys have any doubts, just hit me over the BTMN chat.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, looking great.
Am
I the only one not using TradingView here?
Put that there.
Yeah, I think so.
I've got euro pound on my radar. It's been on my radar for a while. Let's move that to there. So I think, yeah, obviously I've been discussing it for weeks and weeks. We've been in this
I like that trade.
enormous channel. Obviously we've thrown some fakies in either sides. There's been structure within this structure, but this is like the bigger picture structure, but there's been trades and opportunities within this. But I think I really like this for quite a few reasons. So I think one, we had this, I think we can clearly say this was a fake out. So we had this fake out and then we really drove back up into structure. Obviously, we would have found some sort of Fibonacci bounce from the highs to the lows of this fake out. And we've kind of been trickling back down, but I've actually put a limit on the 70.5. So again, obviously, like Kenya was talking about, trend lines are quite subjective and everyone will draw them differently, but all I try to do is either connect bodies of candles that have got large volume, or I try and connect as many wicks as possible. So like someone might be really anal and try and connect it down to that little one there, but to be honest, as long as you're touching as many points as you go along, that's how I see it. So I think for me, I can catch a nice entry down here. So obviously where I've drawn my trend line, let me delete that to get that out of the way. If I can get in on the 70.5, it's going to meet nicely there or thereabouts on that trend line. And I think even just along here, you can see that we've had a little bit of price action on the 4-hour charts and wicks tapping into that level there. So there's a little bit of an extra confluence there. And I think even if we take it up to equal highs, there's good risk rewards. Obviously, it could push a little bit higher up into that upper trend line. But I think eventually, again, it's similar to gold. I'm not changing my bias. I think long term, this has got potential to reach. Where's that good old horizontal ray? I think we can definitely, with this type of chart pattern. So essentially, we could say that this is like your that's your push, this is your correction, and then you're now looking for that third push. So it's like you've got 1, 2, 3. For me, price will eventually hit the top of this channel if this move is to be correct and it plays out as like a sort of technical analysis, like sort of the textbook style trades. So yeah, we've got, people call it different names. We've got like a channel, a bull flag, a corrective structure, whatever you want to call it, but it's really textbook. I think it will eventually play out, and I think this is a nice opportunity to get in down here. I think Mike had a limit on the 62 Fibonacci, and obviously he got wicked in quite nicely. But I'd like to see a bit more of a correction, hopefully during Asian session to get in. But if price comes down to the 62 again and kind of plays about a bit, I might just take an entry. I'm being quite picky trying to get in this low, just trying to sort of catch a sniper entry. But that's definitely on my radar. The other one I was looking at was AJ. I know Kenya's still in it. I think looking on the 4-hour. I mean, I don't think we've made, personally, I wouldn't say we made a new low just based off where the bodies have closed. So we've made equal lows. So what I was looking for was maybe a bit of a push back up into the upside. Again, just using the fibs. If I can get on the 62, I've just drawn just a little trend line, just marking new lower highs. And then again, even if I just run a stop, kind of, I think, have I got the, what's the other fib that you have on, Andrew? Is it like the 83.6?
88.6.
88.6, yeah. So
83.6, sorry.
Yeah, so I think even if I had the 83.6 in here, I think even if I had stops up here, I've just, again, it's just a rough estimate. If I run like a 30 pip stop, and even if, again, if I run it down to like equal lows, I'm still going to catch like a possible 2 to 1, but I think there might be potential to come down into this area down here. But that's, again, we might not get that push up into there, so I'll just have to see what happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't matter. GA, definitely on my watch list. I think this is a trade that I think this is the only trade I made a little bit of money on today. The rest of them lost big. Again, just nice trend line structure. Obviously, we've had the break and retest, but we're kind of making some lower highs now. So again, I think we're just seeing, so it's kind of like here we've had a push, correction, push, another correction, and then another push. So it's just market cycles and just looking at structure. So what I'm hoping for, and the reason I want to kind of get a dip into here is, I've deleted my fibs. Let me just attach them back on. So I've drawn this horizontal line here, just looking at this candle here. So what I was looking at, we had a push from the upside, and then we kind of just corrected back into here, and then we had a huge pickup of like volume here that drove to these highs. So that marks quite a significant area for me that I think we could see a reaction off that level. And I think even on here on the 1 hour, we kind of pushed through, and then we've retested with a couple of wicks there. So this area looks quite interesting to me. And again, it aligns. Obviously, we've got the trend line. I'm hoping for a bit of a dip back down into this sort of area here. Again, I'm obviously probably not being a realist. We might not get a dip. We might just get like a sort of like a double bottom on the 50, but I'm hoping to get in around the 62 on that sort of level there to then see another push to then possibly challenge these highs up here. So again, that's something that's on my radar. I'm hoping this comes to fruition through Asian session or pre-London. So I'd like to get into that tomorrow. I think that's about it. I got stopped on Kiwi Swiss today, which was a bit of a joke. I got stopped on CAD Swiss. I got stopped on quite a few trades today. So I've had a bit of a bad day on the markets, which is why I've been a bit quiet in the desk, because normally I'm sending without, I think if you looked at the ratio of who sends the most messages, I'm definitely up in the top 3. So, and I think today I was probably in the bottom 3, but that was just because I've just had a rough day on the markets.
How much you done?
Just wanted to step away and clean the charts down and I wanted to look at a few specific setups that kind of really looked good. And as you can see, I've only actually got 3 on my red watch list. There's a couple of others I was looking at, possibly GU shorts. I'd like another little push up into the upside to sort of challenge these wicks up here. But those 3 are my definite go-tos, is AJ, Euro Pound, and Pound Aussie. I took a small loss on GJ. I was expecting some sort of push, maybe up into the upside, but I think now we're going to get this triangle breakout. So I know Franny was looking at this as kind of like a big box, but what I'm seeing is a nice sort of triangle pattern. So we've had a push, triangle pattern, and then breakdown. I think even zooming out, again, I just marked a rough trend line here. Could possibly come down into here. The only thing that really put me off taking this short, which is why I was looking at longs, was we had this area up here that we kind of failed to break on numerous occasions, even just sort of looking along here as well, which is why when we kind of bounced into these levels here, I thought we'd see a reaction up to the upside, because at the start of the week I was talking about, I was saying, oh yeah, GJ is going to go into 140 and 142, and I think I had the right intentions of saying that, because this was quite, I think until we can actually break this level, this is quite a key level for me. So I was looking for a bounce here, correct, and then push up and make new highs, but obviously that didn't happen. So I do think there's a good opportunity on GJ for shorts, but obviously it's been in some disgusting range. But again, just with how I've marked the chart pattern, you could even say like, has that broken out? There's so many ways to draw it, but what I'd like to see is a convincing push down and then some sort of retest on these sort of low wicks here, and then see if we can get like a nice pin bar or like an engulfing candle to then kind of give me a bit more confidence to take it short. But I think I'd like to see a push down, maybe if we get a push down to here, and then so we could maybe get a push down to here and then maybe come back up into that area there. That might be something to look at, but that probably won't happen until whether I don't really know what sort of volume we're going to get in the Asian session. The Asian session's not been too bad this week. New York session's been absolutely shocking. I think the session for me has been pre-London this week. Pre-London and London Open's been where all the volume's been. So that's why I've chosen these pairs, because they're quite close to my entry requirements. So I think if I can get a bit of activity in the Asian session, they may potentially come to light in London, and then I can look to hold them through New York. But I don't really want to take them during New York based off limited volume that we've had this week, because then I'll be stuck in a range bound trade again, which I don't want to be, because that's how I got completely slapped today. So I'm trying to change my attacks up a bit, and try and fit to current market conditions, which I think is kind of trading outside the range, and also trading on kind of the sessions that are bringing the volume. And I think London will bring the volume tomorrow. I might be wrong, but I think if you look on the whole week, London has produced more volume than all other sessions. But other than that, that's pretty much what I'm looking at. They're my three go-tos: GA, EG, and AJ. Possible GJs, maybe GU. But again, I don't want to basket trade sterling in case I get slapped again. That's it from me.
Cool.
Thank you, Max.
Thank you very much, Max.
Cool.
Thank you very much, Franny, as well. Thank you very much, Kenya. Thank you very much, everyone.
It's always a pleasure.
Does anybody else want to show anything, or does anybody have any questions about anything?
And the only other thing I was going to add on to that we were discussing at the start, and I don't know who brought it up about, I think Kenya was obviously showing a lot of her markups and trades that she was in. And I think the one thing she touched on was not wanting to send like the sort of riskier trades, which I 100% agree with. I think the only thing that would be, and this kind of applies to people that either don't have time to sort of delve into the community chat that a lot of us do participate in on a daily basis, or people that don't have time to thoroughly educate themselves to become more independent like some of us do. I think we put a huge amount of time in, particularly you, Andrew, Franny, Kenya, we put a massive amount of time into doing Zoom twice a week, the chart setups, the peak alerts. I think what would be good is to start allowing people that have joined the desk to take sort of their own accountability and responsibility for taking any sort of trades that do get sent out. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that obviously it's your mindset, and it's completely
and more trades basically.
not like, oh yeah, just go and chuck up trades for the sake of it. But I think for those people, because I think there's probably quite a few people that don't have time to jump on the Zooms for other reasons, and they maybe join the desk based off like previous performance in the Telegram channel and for the added experience of what Franny's bringing, and now Kenya on the team. There's some people that are probably sitting there waiting for signals to come through, and now like, well, actually, like what's going on, like what's the limited access to signals, or whatever it may be. So I think it's
the reality of the situation is this week there's been nothing that I would, for my own personal, I sent the one trade that I thought looked good, which was EA. It did its biz, and then everything else has kind of just not been, even for me entering these trades, a lot of them don't fit my criteria for what I want to do when I enter a trade. It's kind of just been like trying to scramble to even pull like some profit for myself here and there, because I'm just like, it's waiting for the correct moment, in my opinion. But no, I agree with you, mate. We've had this discussion before.
I didn't want it to like come out as though like it was kind of like a dig or like things aren't working right. But I think it's just looking at it from a completely different angle, and people that are brand new to the desk, like new to trading, they might purely be joining and think, actually, like I was in the Telegram channel previously, or I've looked at all these other trades that other people have done and all these ideas, and I purely am here to like maybe just follow signals, for example. So I think it's just putting a different spin on it, because for me, like if you don't send trades, it doesn't worry me too much, because I know I can go and explore my own trades. But obviously if you guys do send trades, like for me, I would jump on them, because a reason I joined was because I know of your historic performance. I know Kenya's a phenomenal trader. What Franny's bringing has added a lot to my sort of arsenal of trading. So different people have got different reasons for being in the desk. So I think it's making sure that we're doing our best to tap into all of the different people that are actually here in the desk. And I think long term that will attract more and more people to come in, and eventually turn more and more people into sort of independent traders.
Yeah, 100%. Well, honestly,
on the flip side, like you said, Andrew, this week's been very tough. So what I'm not saying is, there needs to be like a specific amount of trades that are being sent a day, because I think we can all agree, like this isn't a through and through signal based service where you join the Invest Beyond desk and you get 3 to 5 signals a day. We tell you how to manage risk. Like when the concept of the Invest desk is not to teach people how to suck eggs, it's to try and educate people. But on the side of that, there might be people in here that want to follow the signals to gain the confidence to start looking at the educational route. So
yeah, okay, cool. No, I completely agree with you. Okay, mate.
yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, honestly, it's just been, you know, like I said, it's a combination of market conditions and just lack of what I would say decent trade opportunities all the time, you know, because like even like Kenya said, a lot of the trades she's taking at the moment are, as she would say, risky, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and that would obviously, and I think from a mindset perspective, I think say like Kenya sent 50% of the setup she was in the back of her mind, she might be thinking like, oh, like what if these setups that are riskier and I've now decided to send out as a signal don't come to fruition and they lose? Like, are people going to be pissed off because I've sent a risky trade? So it's such a catch-22, like getting that fine balance.
Right.
So I completely get where Kenya's coming from, not wanting to chuck loads of those riskier trades into the channel. But then I think on the flip side, give people the opportunity to determine whether they want to take on those or not, if that makes sense.
Yep, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely hearing what you're saying, Max, and I was teeter-tottering with this, you know, all week since Sunday when I started seeing some of these setups happen on how I wanted to, you know, continue on and if I was going to send certain things or not. And I just decided, because this week was already so crazy, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna hold off. I made that executive decision to hold off because of kind of this rangy yet volatile somewhat market that we're in right now. Yeah. But that can't always be like the MO, because we're always going to have markets that are like that, right? So I think to your point, to your credit, Max, that you do hit on the whole point is that everyone here is trying to build upon this level of skill sets. And the only way that someone can really build that, especially if they're a beginner, is to start small, build their own analysis, build their own toolkit, and figure out what's going to be best for them. So we got to build a foundation somewhere for new people who don't know how to make a markup in less than 30 minutes, so I hear you. I think, all of us definitely hear where you're coming from, and we'll definitely keep implementing that as this community continues to grow.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Because I think even if you just look at it, and I think Franny was talking about bread, but I was going to say, like, a bread and butter example is like you send the trades, you send the chart, you explain why you've taken the trade hits take profit. Someone that's new will go, oh, like I can then refer back to that, look at what you've charted up, look at why you're taking the trade, and that will give people more confidence. Actually, like, this person's taking this trade, I'm going to go away and implement that into my own analysis and see if I can make it work for myself. So the two work hand in hand, which obviously the more and more people that we get on board that want to join the desk, it will eventually help them long term.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I get you, mate.
Great insight. That was really good. I have to hop off. I have to go into a work meeting before I get off of work. So I will chit chat with you guys a little bit later, okay?
Yeah, let's see what we get tomorrow. Let's see what setups coming into tomorrow. See if the volatility picks up towards the end of the week with some follow through on equities. And yeah, let's see how it goes, guys.
Yeah, sweet.
But honestly, it's just like, as I always say, patience is a virtue as well. And as I found out myself this week, trading my own personal account, I've got into subpar setups, like I'll be the first to admit I put myself into pretty shitty setups, which I've just been trading on my personal account, which, they haven't fit my criteria, but I'm trying to, squeeze some profit from the market. But because it doesn't fit what I normally trade, it's a bit of a hassle.
Yeah. That's like I was really reluctant to put that screenshot in the chat, but I was thinking actually, like, that's what a lot of people don't see enough of. Like, I could kind of tell the vibe in the community was a little bit down this week because I think everyone was really confused, like, with the markets, and people weren't like banging any decent trades. I know James had a few at the start of the week, and some people have had a few decent trades, but I think the majority have kind of been a little bit subdued by the market conditions and people have lost some trades, and that's why I was like, actually, like, this is a prime example of what people don't see enough of. And yeah, I was quite happy to share what I'd lost, and some people probably think like, fucking hell, like that's a massive loss, but for me it's just it's a numbers game. Like, I'm 3% down, but I can make 3% back in one trade on the 1 to 3. So
Yeah, exactly.
I thought I'd share that because we share a lot of success, but what a lot of people are afraid to show is the losses. And I think it actually really helped me because I had a shit day, and I actually found as soon as I put that in there, it kind of like took a little bit of the stress away. So that actually really helped me to put that in there just to kind of show like what bad days do look like.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. All right. Well, I don't have much else to say from my end.
Can I ask one question, Max? Sorry, Andrew, for interrupting you. What about this signal stuff? I understand clearly what you're saying, because if we want to increase the number of people in our platform and community, obviously most of the people don't have neither the time or skill or even money to learn, because in this business, until you have something really valuable to win, you need to lose a lot, right? And in this perspective, I understand that most of the beginner people don't think in the first instance that they want to learn and then they will apply what they learn. They want to jump in and get educated along the way, right? That's the way how most of us learn how to trade right now. And nowadays, all this people selling signals over Instagram and Telegram and stuff, I think it's the way that the retail community just settle themselves, you know. But what you think of the possibility of us having other type of service like a managed account or a copy trader for those guys who don't have time but still want to enter and engage the market and start learning and starting participating over the markets? What you think about that?
My honest opinion is that is a very, very grey area, and I've seen people UK based be caught out by that type of stuff, whether you refer to it as capital management or trade copier or managed accounts. A company that I used to do marketing for that James will know very well, I left them well over 6 months ago because they were being investigated by the FCA for not having regulation and licensing for a capital management scheme. So they had a capital management fund set up with Vantage FX. They were getting clients to deposit minimum 5k into a fund account for their like portfolio managers to trade, but they didn't have any FCA regulation for it, and they pretty much got shut down. So I think you're treading in a very, very grey area, particularly with obviously the company being like UK based. I think I think that's something long term that could work if we could build if you guys could build a strong enough platform and have a big enough
community. It's okay to say we.
I think it's definitely something that could work long term. I think at the moment probably not, just because I think it's so new. So that's something that could work 100%. But I think at the moment you'd need to explore like what it looks like, because it's not a case of just like, oh yeah, let's get something set up with a broker, manage some capital, or even set up like a trade copier service. I think there's a lot more background stuff that has to go on behind that. Also marketing that type of product as well. You might find that you don't get massive interest initially. I don't know. That's just my sort of thoughts on that. I think everything, me personally, everything that's included in the desk, I'm literally just looking at it now. We've got the chat room, signals, peak alerts, chart setups, trade videos, fundamental. We've got the 3 BTMM channels. Without all the other widgets, this is literally head and tails above anything else that you see on the market. There's a couple of other companies out there that offer similar concepts, but they charge through the roof for it, and I don't know what their results are like, but I've seen a couple of other companies that do similar things. I think one does it on Discord and one have got their own website, but it's nothing like this. This is literally second to none. So I think like the structure of the platform is great, and I think there's variation of opportunities. So some people might join just for the community environment. Like I said, some people might purely just have the signals widget on alerts, so they might have all the other channels turned off purely because they just want to catch signals. Some people might come in here and go, actually, I really like the new alerts we've got set up. Some people might just be following what you're doing with BTMM style trading, Franny. So people got choice of where they're opening in here, and I think it's what I was getting at with kind of creating the signals, making sure that we're tapping into all of these opportunities to make sure that people don't leave or people aren't attracted to join the Invest Beyond group by either not like putting trades out, or like Andrew's just set up new peak alerts. Like, I don't know, say for example that just drops off the pad in 3 or 4 weeks and nothing gets posted for a couple of weeks. Some people might be like, oh, I was having really good success with that. Like, where's all that stuff gone? So I think.
Well, I mean that's all of that stuff is there to stay. The whole concept of what like the Invest Desk is as well is, I'll be honest with you, it's, you know, I don't think see, this is a tricky one because I didn't know if I wanted to necessarily create the platform for people who are brand new for trading as well. You know, like it obviously it naturally leans towards people who have a bit more experience in trading anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And I do understand. Listen, I understand what you're saying, dude. But at the end of the day, like you said, like if there's not a setup that I think is worth sending, and I'm just kind of punching to see if the setup's going to go right, you know, I'd rather not send a loss, and I'd rather just, you know, provide you guys with alerts and everything like that. And you know, do you know what I mean? But
yeah, 100%. And that's why having those other channels like the chart setups is really good, because if we do the Zoom on a Sunday or we do it midweek, there's opportunities to send that stuff in there. And like I said, some people might go, actually, I really like looking at the chart setups because I can then apply that to my own trading. So having those different opportunities there is really good.
Yeah.
But I completely agree with what you're saying. There's no point chucking shit at a wall and seeing what sticks.
That's literally, I'll be honest with you, man, like this week is an example, you know, outside of like EA and stuff like that, you know, I think it was literally a case of, okay, I'm going to see how this goes. You know, just because of the way the market was moving and the range and the volatility in the market, every trade that I've kind of given myself even has been like, you know what, I'm going to see how this goes, you know? And it's like, I don't feel like comfortable just throwing those out to people as well, you know, because then at the end of the day, they're paying for a service and then they're losing.
Yeah, 100% agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just finding the balance. It's just when the market conditions are really tough like this, really, that's it, you know. And I understand that some people won't understand that as well.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think that's where I was trying to get at, is some people that are in here that might only be in here to follow trades or to look at charts.
Yeah. Well, man,
they might not understand that part.
I'm a part of like quite a few signals, right? Like from the time, and like the loss ratio that I'm seeing over signal providers this week, you know, last week has been quite shocking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like SLs left, right, and center. And that's why I haven't just been throwing shit out, because realistic, you know, I don't want that to also be the case. So
yeah, 100%.
But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
All right.
I guess it's something going to learn along the way, right? And it's nice to hear opinions about people just in our community, just to know where to grow, you know.
Yeah.
But I agree honestly with Andrew, because personally I am not that kind of guy that will throw a signal and wouldn't take it, right? Because I throw just really a few signals a week, maybe 2-3 signals a week, but I'm balls deep in them, you know. I'm constantly monitoring all the candles that happen in those signals, and I'm alerting guys about how to manage the position, just to chill out, about the fundamentals or the catalysts over those setups. And that's the way I trade. So that's the way I feel comfortable throwing signals, right? Because if I take the hits, people will take the hits as well. And if I have the profit, I know that people will certainly have profits as well. And that's the way I feel comfortable, because I couldn't make like most of people throwing signals nowadays that charge for commissions and win on commissions and just throw shit into the fan just to see where it goes, right? And I think that's the main reason that people stop believing in Forex communities, right? Because there's always a second intention in the things they are doing. And honestly, I don't feel good doing that. And that's the way I think that Invest Beyond has a great future if people manage to realize about that we guys really trade and show you guys what we do with most transparency possible, right? And that's why, for example, that I set up my FX book when I started BTMN channel, and I have the link. You guys have the link, right? It's certified. I can change that, right? I can change the data in there, and you guys see how are my lot sizes, and when I take my stops, and when I take my stop losses, when I give up on trades. So I think that's hard for people to hit. People don't want to know about that. People just want to make dollars, and I understand that. But once you are in the market for a while, you realize that most of the time that you spent with those guys were not really truly valuable, because they're always lying to you, and that's the thing I never want to do in here. So that's why I didn't want it much, to be honest, to be throwing a lot of signals, because I do see a lot of setups daily. I do, but I don't feel confident to trade them, and so I don't jump in, right? And so I think I got my point in here, right? So I appreciate your opinion, and honestly, I'm going to think about that and try to probably throw more opportunities for beginners in here, of course.
I mean, it's like,
on the other hand,
it's like, if you think about it, if you think about people like, I'm just going to use Ronan as an example, because obviously we're all familiar with him. Like he just throws, he doesn't trade he doesn't trade like 3/4 of what he sends, like he just will he'll show a demo account with the trade entered, but he's not trading that trade, because I've had access to my FX book and everything and all that. And it's one thing for me to just send you a trade based on analysis, and then it's one thing to actually send the trade when I enter the trade, and that's where it comes down to like what some people do and what some people don't do. Like, honestly, a lot of people, for the volume of trades, like, you need to really, for the amount of signals some people send, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, I don't understand how, they can send so many, because it's like 10 active trades you have running at some points, and it's just like, so yeah, that's all it literally comes down to, man. If sometimes there's not, for me, a signal on the trade, it's literally because I'm like, okay, I'm just going to test my luck on this trade, and I would, anyway, I think we've all said everything, but I completely understand what you mean, mate, honestly. So, it's always something that I'm thinking about, because I know what people pay for, and I know what, people come for and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to throw something I'm not myself in as well.
No, yeah, completely agree. And I think, we've all kind of like chipped in with, it's good to like discuss these things, because if you don't
100%, dude.
kind of like, it just turns into a bit of an elephant in the room. So I think it's kind of good to just have a bit of a chat about different things and things that work. But I think the two big things that I think have massively, what have helped me, and the feeling I get is that they've helped other people, is the chart setups that was obviously introduced. So that was a little while back, but I think recently the peak alerts, I think loads of people have become really engaged with that, which is really good. And obviously that's off the back of the style that Franny trades with, and he's obviously taught you, and you're obviously now implementing it. So I think people will really buy into that. So I think that's definitely something to keep really, really pushing.
Dude, for sure. Every time I get an alert, that's why I'm always very quick to make those calls for you guys, because for you guys who are looking to learn, those are some of the best tools, because you can, and not only that, but for setting up your own trades, they're super fucking useful.
Yeah.
Which is why it can be a bit of a blurry line between, are we a desk for people who do not know what they're doing, or are we a little bit more progressed than that? And what this is about is, more about supporting growth in traders through helping them, and then sharing the trades that we do take, which isn't a volume game, because for signal providers, it's a volume game.
Yeah, because of that CPA commission.
Yeah, and it's like 10 signals a day or whatever it is, you know what I mean? And it's like, for me, it gets quite stressful, because it's like, okay, well, I'm not actually trading these right now, and it's like, so that's where it can get a bit stressful, because there's obviously people have expectations from other signal providers where it's like 10, 15 signals a day. And, you know, that's just what they've been hard grained into thinking it's like, you know what I mean? So it's, I get what you mean though, dude, for sure. So it's obviously something that we'll pick up, but it's completely market condition based, mate. That's all.
Yeah, 100% goes without saying. Like you said, not just going to chuck shit at a wall and hope it sticks. So
yeah, and also like the way I trade is, you know, if I'm going to put my teeth into something, I want to hope that it's going to actually kind of move, you know, and not just go like take profit now, 20 pips, 30 pips, something like that, you know, take partials now. And unfortunately, there's just been no momentum really. Yeah, and where the momentum's come, it's either pushed in the wrong direction or they've been massive pullbacks. So that's it, man, from my side. I know some, and the good thing is that, I mean, you know, a lot of guys in the desk are growing and becoming really good traders as well, you know. So it's like, yeah, there's the other side to it. But I agree with you. Basically, that's what I'm saying. So
yeah,
cool. Cool, guys. Well, thank you so much for the long Zoom and the chat and the feedback, everything. It's good to catch up.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, let's see what we can find for tomorrow, because I think EuroCAD does look very good.
Yeah, I've just looked at EuroCAD. It seems to be pressing quite hard.
Yeah, I'm going to wait to see what it looks like tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
All righty.
Cool. Cheers, guys.
Cool. Take it easy, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.